Is it already recording?
Yeah. Do you want me to, if you touch my face on the screen, it'll stay on my face like all the time, no matter where I move to. Oh, is this your measuring thing?
That's
here?
what came in. What, like that?
Oh, this is cute. Yeah. Okay. So I'll start back over from the beginning. So this is the starter. It doesn't matter how much starter you have, as long as you have equal parts water, lukewarm water, starter, and bread flour. That's all that matters. And if there's a little liquid on top, that's just the hooch. It means the sourdough's hungry. All right. So we're going to use your little measuring thing here. I have a regular scale. We're going to put your measuring bowl on it. What I like to do, this is what I typically do. I have two of these that are exactly the same.
Yeah, I have another one of those at home.
I take an empty, I zero it, and then I weigh this.
Oh, okay.
Because then it's just the easiest way to weigh my starter. Because if I were at home, I would feed this whole thing, not just a little bit like I'm doing for you.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so I'm going to zero it like that. And I have to measure your flour first before I measure your starter.
Oh, I did bring a measuring fourth of a cup.
I have to do it by weight.
Oh, okay.
So I have to measure your flour first because this is our limiting factor. Whatever this weighs is the most we can make. So I'll measure it, and then it sounds like a arduous task, but I'm gonna pour it back in. But I'll tell you why in a minute. I also like to take a Sharpie. If you don't already know this, alcohol erases Sharpie. But I like to take a Sharpie and write how much it weighs on my container too. It's very helpful. So this is 141 grams. I'm going to dump it back into the plastic because this mixes better with water. So I'm just going to remember that it's 141 grams. Now I can measure this, and the most that I can go to is 141 grams. So I'm just going to pour it in until it gets to 141. And if you're like me, you probably won't remember a lot of this later, which is why you're videoing it, so that you can watch it back, because I for sure did not remember when I was first starting out.
So you put equal parts, right?
Yes. All right, so that's 141, so that wasn't quite the whole thing, but that's good news because I can feed this another time, so that's good.
And you have more on your counter at home?
Yeah, or I could send you home with that little bit to practice this later. Okay, so now we're gonna zero it out, and I'm gonna get 141 of water. Okay, grams. Weighing is so much better. So if I'm weighing my salt, if I'm weighing my flour, anything I'm doing, weighing is a lot better than measuring.
Yeah.
And mixing the two, like weighing one thing and then measuring another, it's better to just be consistent.
Do you know if this camera can record like super long videos?
Did you say long?
Yeah, like hours. I've told Mom about it.
Oh, I have no idea.
No idea.
That's a Justin question for sure.
That's what I told her.
So this is lukewarm water, which is important. You don't want it to be too hot, too cold. Liquid typically weighs more than powder, so it's not going to be as much volume. And you want to do it slow because you can't take away. Although I have for sure taken a spoon and dipped a little out, and I've for sure dumped a little of my water out before, 100%. Like right now it says 145, so I'm for sure gonna dump a little bit out. Science. All right. We've already measured this, so we are all done with that guy. Oh, I told you last thing. This is better if you mix the water and
Yeah.
starter, and then add the flour. All right. And then we are going, because we're making bread tonight, or because we're doing the 3-hour process tonight, we are going to actually let this sit out. But if I was not making bread tonight, I would put it in the refrigerator. And so basically it's just fed starter. But here's kind of the problem. This will get you through your trip to Atlanta, okay?
Yeah, but then...
But it won't help you make bread. So
Yeah.
in my experience, the directions will tell you that you can let it sit in the refrigerator for like 24 hours, and you can use that. In my experience, a better loaf of bread comes from if you feed it, and then 8 hours, like you let it sit room temperature, and then make bread. It's better. So the only time I feed it and put it in the fridge is if it needs to be fed. Like I said, the hooch tells you it's hungry, right?
Yeah.
if
So
it
then do you
needs to
keep
be
some
fed-
on the counter, like to make bread?
Not all the time, but I know the day, like I knew we were making this bread.
Yeah.
So I said, I have to feed it in the morning and let
Yeah,
it sit
yeah,
out
yeah.
for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's what you're using. What?
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
There you
So, oh wait, that's. So what is? So that will make bread tonight then.
Yes.
And then if you need to feed, if I need to make a starter, then I have to bring another container, right? How does that work?
Yes. Yep. If you're gonna make
Okay.
this, like I have
Like
to
if I
feed-
wanted to make some for Thanksgiving, it might be ready in time to feed, right?
When I make mine for Thanksgiving, so Thanksgiving is on Thursday. Remember how I did the math of this?
Yeah, yeah.
It was really hard, right? So if I'm going to make my loaf to be ready, like let's say at 1 p.m. on Thursday, then at 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day, I have to take my fermented bread out of the refrigerator and let it sit on the counter to rise,
Yeah.
right?
But I mean, if
You're
you
gonna watch
need,
me do that Friday.
yeah, but if I need to make more feed, right, then I need to start that process now, right?
For Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah.
So to answer that question, we're backwards tracking. So that's how you make the loaf the day of. So then if you know that on Thursday morning you have to already have it pre-fermented,
Yeah, I have
then
to
you
start.
know 2 days prior to that
Yeah.
on Tuesday, you have to have your mixing done. So by Tuesday morning, your mixing has to be done, meaning you have to start your mixing earlier Tuesday morning. So if by 10 o'clock, you have to have the math is the hardest part, especially for people like us who are extremely busy and we're having
Yeah.
to try to fit it in, right?
Yeah.
So these are just minimums. So by Tuesday morning, early, you have to start the mixing. The
Yeah,
3-hour process that we're doing
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, okay.
You have to start that by Tuesday morning, meaning Monday night, that's when you're doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
So your NLT, like I like to say, no later than, is Monday night that you need to have your sourdough fed.
Okay, okay.
And for you, because you're starting from scratch, I would because I'm starting from an active starter.
Yeah, yeah.
You're starting from a package.
Yeah.
Sometime like Friday, I would do an experiment one where you feed it. I don't know how much that provided for you, but I would like split it in half.
So I started it, I'll bring it to you tonight so you can look at
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I
okay.
started it last night.
And you put it in the fridge or on the counter?
It's on the counter.
On the counter?
So what it said to do was it said put the powder in and mix it with 1 tablespoon of water and let it sit 2 hours. I did
Okay,
that.
cool.
And then it said put 1 tablespoon of flour and let it sit 8 hours. I did that
On the counter.
on the counter.
Okay,
And then it said, because it came with like a little cloth, so I put the cloth on it this
Yep.
last night. And then it said add 1/4 a cup of water and 1/4 a cup of flour
Okay.
this morning, and I did that.
Okay, great.
And then I think
So you're at that's this point.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one that you just described where you
yeah,
added the flour
yeah,
to your already
yeah.
made starter is this point.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
then
But
it
then
needs.
you put
I
it in the
need.
fridge,
It's not in. No, it said to leave it
still on
out.
the counter?
Yeah,
Okay. So
because it said tonight every 8 to 12 hours. I
what
need
time
to
did you do that?
6 o'clock.
This morning?
Yeah.
So your starter is going to be ready to make a loaf just like mine is. So
Yeah.
we could both be making
I don't know
our
if there's
own
enough
loaves
though to make a
of
loaf
yours.
because it's like.
You only need a cup.
I don't know if it's cup. It's probably. I'll bring it
Okay.
and you
okay.
can tell me
That's
what it
probably
looks
why
like.
it says to keep doing it every
Yeah.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Is to get you to that
A cup. Yeah. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be like a half a cup.
Okay.
Could make a small one.
Okay.
I mean, I'll bring it so you can look at it.
Yeah, for sure. Bring it. Yeah. And then I need to feed my starter because it's very sad.
Yeah.
So.
Because that's your backup, right? That's
I
the one you
know,
keep in the fridge.
My mother. Like
It's
you
the
said.
mother.
That's
You
my
need
mother.
more of a mother now.
I know. So technically, I would want. But the good news is, this is going to be more than a cup. So how much would you say if you had to guess? How
It's
much?
probably
would
a
you say?
cup and a half.
It's for sure a cup, definitely. Okay. I don't know exactly. You're probably right about a cup and a half, but it's for sure a cup. So whatever is left in here is my new mother.
Okay. Yeah.
So I get new mothers every time I make a loaf of bread.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the good news is we have enough to make a loaf, and I have enough to refeed my mother, so we're good. So even if I need to share half a cup to go with your
Yeah.
half a cup,
Yeah.
we should be fine
Yeah.
making 2 loaves.
And I think how do you know when you make sourdough like pancakes or something? How do you know when to use that?
So you know how I said the hooch means it's hungry?
Yeah.
At some point, this proliferates. Think of like rabbits. You know, you get a rabbit,
Yeah.
you get one rabbit, you're good.
Yeah.
Then you get a girl rabbit. Then you get a boy rabbit. You're not good anymore.
Yeah.
Because they just start multiplying out of nowhere. The same thing goes for your sourdough. So it's just going to start multiplying so fast you can't keep up, especially with our schedule.
Yeah.
The only thing that you and I can really keep up with is feeding our starter. Let's be real. Like
Yeah.
that's really going to be to make bread is going to be a luxury for us. And I got to be honest, in my life, 100%.
Well, I
make
probably
sure I
would
have
make
what I
a
need.
couple, like, I wouldn't do it
Several
every
and
week. I
freeze.
would make this. So, like, when I was
That's what I do.
buying, I got spoiled with Cliff's bread. And I would buy 8 to 10 loaves at a time and freeze it. And then I tried some other places in the Fayetteville area, and I'm like, this is not sour. It doesn't taste like sourdough. It's too white.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
American sourdough bread.
Yeah, I
Did you
don't.
see Justin's social media yesterday?
Yeah.
About how they feed us here compared
Yeah.
to Europe. It's so bad. Which is why you can eat bread when you go overseas. You can eat
That's
bread.
why, like, even now I eat more bread. Like, sometimes it's 1 or 2 slices, not every time, but sometimes it's 1 or 2 slices a day. But I'm still losing and I'm still making gains in the gym because it doesn't have all that other crap in it.
Yep. Yes, 100%. So great. So we will reconvene this video later, yeah?